Alright, what is up everyone? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Chris and today I'm back with another video here. This is a different setup, the old setup like I mentioned in the last video, as I was in a completely different spot. I was like caddy cornered that way and the whole entire thing, so now you kind of understand what I'm talking about. I face this way, and we are back in the original spot. So, the Flyers pick up a 2-1 win over the Detroit Red Wings in Detroit. I do apologize. We're having a little bit of a party at my house for the Eagles game. I was streaming the Flyers game at the same time, kind of watching both, similar thing, and now I'm here. So, Flyers, again, pick up a 2-1 win in Detroit, and this one came with some pretty clutch moments from Scott Lawton, Noah Cates. Carter Hart was fantastic in this one. Unfortunately, did not get the shutout, but was amazing in this one. Made a lot of good saves, kept the Flyers, especially in most of the second half of the first period. He kept this game scoreless and kept the Flyers in it. Lines in this one have been the same as always. Van Riemsdyk, Frost, Tippett, Farabee, Cates, Konechny, Hayes, Lawton, Allison, Delorier, Brown, and McEwen, Provorov and York, Sanheim and D'Angelo, Sealer and Ristolainen, and Carter Hart was in there, like I mentioned. It's been the same lines for a good chunk of games now. Again, it's been working. The Flyers have been winning, and there's really no point of changing it. Not many of the tweaks have really worked out anyway. So the Flyers went with the same lines. First period was kind of back and forth. Both teams had chances. Flyers had a good shift from the Lawton line and York in the defensive zone. I thought York had a really good game defensively tonight. Made some really nice plays. Sealer had the first shot of the game for the Flyers from the point. It was a good shift by the Flyers' fourth line after that. Delorier had a chance in front. Hart had a really nice save on Kopp. After that, Ristolainen had a shot that got blocked from the point. The Flyers had a couple plays here where the Frost line had some looks. There was a pass in front for Tippett. It was a really nice. It was a really nice pass. And then D'Angelo had a shot that ended up deflecting wide off of Husso. Larkin was stoned in front by Carter Hart. One of probably Hart's best save of the game. One of them, at least. He made one, obviously, in the dying seconds on Lucas Raymond to keep the game at 2-1. And it looked like it could have went over the line, but it did not, and the Flyers ended up holding on. But again, this one on Larkin was just fantastic. Ristolainen, another big hit, but this one's an interference call, so it's a penalty. The puck was behind him for a good couple of seconds, so it's interference. Lawton had a steal in center ice, then blocked a shot. Sealer had a shot that was, or Sider, not Sealer. Sider had a shot that was stoned by Hart. It was a pretty good kill overall. The Flyers had a good box, and they were able to just basically clear out everything. They didn't really give the Red Wings much of anything. They had some pressure after the goal, though, Detroit. I mean, they definitely weathered the storm. They had looks at the net. They had a lot of just control in the offensive zone. And once that was happening, Hart, he was making saves. You see in the puck. And the Flyers, after a 4-on-4 with Perron and Konechny, this one would go scoreless after one period. I thought the Flyers, they had a couple other plays. York had a chance in tight late where it could have put the Flyers up 1-0. It was a good 3-on-2 rush from Konechny and Cates. Then York joined the play. Chipped it wide, but it also deflected as well. And as for the second period, it was kind of back and forth. It was really a seesaw. Like, there wasn't really any team that had major momentum or anything like that. Like, the Wings had a lot of pressure in the last handful of, I don't know, maybe 8 to 10 minutes of the first period, and then they went shotless and over like 9 minutes of play in the second. So the Flyers did a good job, and I mentioned, in November there was a stretch of games where the Flyers were able to hold teams shotless. It was right when they ended the 10-game losing streak. And they did it that night in the game that they won against the Islanders. They followed up a couple other games where they held teams shotless and things like that for a good chunk of time. And, that's something that you want to build on. And, in that second period, Hayes had a shot that went wide on a 2-on-1. York had a pretty good chance in tight. Again, it was a back-and-forth game. I thought the Flyers needed more offense, and they started to get that. They had a power play here. Sanheim and Rasmussen, they both went to the box with Rasmussen, got an extra penalty. Lawton had a shot that went out of play. They really didn't do much after that, but they had chances. McEwen had a really nice play in tight. He came in down low and ended up just kind of like toe dragging it into the slot. Almost scored. It was a nice save by Huso as well, and Frost had a really nice spin pass, and then which kind of set up D'Angelo, and it was a nice play because Frost was on his backhand, put it between his legs to himself on the forehand, and then ended up finding D'Angelo. I thought he was going to leave it for tip it. It would have been a really nice play if he did. Still, finds the trailer in D'Angelo and just. Again, it was a really nice save by Huso as well. It wasn't anything too crazy of a save, but still, it's little things like that from Frost that he's doing. And, you know, it's funny because Torts has mentioned all of this stuff on, like, him, if you can't help out offensively, then get back defensively. And there was a play where he fumbled the puck. I can't remember if it was the second or third period. But there was a play where he fumbled the puck, and he had a couple of plays where like he was trying to get it going offensively, and he couldn't, lost it, and then got back defensively and made the play. And that's the stuff that you want to see. I believe he had a stick lift or just kind of a stick swipe and just got the puck back. But again, after this, the Red Wings, after that power play, they didn't have a shot in 9 minutes and 33 seconds up until this point when it came up on the broadcast. They would get a power play here to the Red Wings. It was a high stick on Sanheim. Unfortunately, the stick just came up. The Flyers, again, there was only 10 seconds left, so it carries over. They killed that one off. To start the period, Provorov had a shot that got blocked. He was kind of stung on that one. Again, it was a really good kill. I mean, you didn't want to give Detroit anything to, you didn't want to give them any glamorous chance, right? You wanted to kind of just keep it tight. Make sure they didn't have as much room. I mean, the Flyers, basically, they've been doing this thing where if it's a go play, where, like, if you can read it, go for it, and if you think you have a chance for it, or if it's on the backhand or anything, you go for it. And they did a really good job at that. Hart had a really nice save at the side of the net. And then the Flyers get the first goal of the game. It was a really nice play from Hayes to stay onside. Chips it into the middle. Lawton goes in, scores on the backhand, 1-0. Again, just a really nice play, and I think that line has been coming together. The Hayes, Lawton, and Allison line. I think Hayes has been pretty good for since going to wing. Hasn't been as noticeably I guess I should say I don't want to say bad defensively, because I don't think Hayes is bad defensively. I think sometimes it's just. There's plays where you think he could maybe get back a little bit more, and he doesn't. But I think since moving to wing, I think he's played really well. I've liked Hayes for most of the season. He's been frustrating at times, but I think he's had a pretty good year. And again, it was a really nice play to stay on side. He's got obviously he's a bigger guy, and he's able to kind of just spread out with his legs because his legs are huge. And he, again, just made a really nice play to stay on side. Lawton comes in, backhand top shelf, 1-0 Flyers. A couple minutes later, Hart had a really nice save from the circle, and then the Flyers get the second goal of the game. Cates would add to it, and it was a turnover behind the net. Konechny putting himself in the right spot at the right time, picks up a puck, finds Cates, bam. I mean, and Konechny, who's, offensively, he's been there. I think a couple of these games he's been maybe gripping the stick a little bit too tight. He hasn't had as much room. I think it's obviously seems like teams are kind of finding on and figuring out about Konechny and what he's been doing. But for Cates, it was a beautiful shot. It was a really nice play from Konechny. That's his third assist in his last 3 games. The Red Wings would pull excuse me, they pulled Ville Husso. There are 4 minutes left, 3:54 to be exact. Raymond would score in tight outside of that. I thought the Flyers defended well before that. They had a couple of plays where they had block shots. Allison had a block shot. Lawton had a couple as well. They just really kept everything to the outside. They did a good job of that. And the Wings would score, though. Raymond scored in tight. It was a tough play. They called timeout, and then Hart just absolutely stones Raymond on the goal line. Great play, just fantastic. Super great game from Hart, and really the Flyers. It was a good effort. It was a good team effort. Some of these games where if it's close, and if it's 0-0 or 1-1 or something like that, if the other team can score, it's just a huge deflator, right? And you're just like, oh, well, thankfully the Flyers got one. They got the insurance goal, and Hart made some big saves, and they held on. Lawton gets the game winner, and overall the Flyers, they bounced back from the game on Thursday because they were kind of flat in that game. They were flat at times in this game. The first period they didn't have that much offense, but they did a really good job defensively in the second. Held it down, getting no shots for the Red Wings in a good chunk of 10 minutes, and overall, pretty good game from the Flyers tonight. Really good effort from Hart. Some guys obviously stepped up, and I thought the Flyers' fourth line was good in this game. I thought they had some good energy. They obviously had some hits. McEwen had a couple chances to score. I really liked Cam York tonight. I thought he made some really nice plays, just getting out of the zone. His exits were good. It seemed like if Provorov was in trouble, he was able to kind of just get in there and just deflect it away or make some sort of play with his stick to keep it out of harm's reach and just keep it aside. The face-off percentage was 59% to 41% in favor of the Red Wings, and not as much. It's been a little bit smaller in difference because you've had so many different things, obviously in the face-off circle. But again, the Flyers with a 2-1 win over the Red Wings here in Detroit. Back at it again tomorrow against the Winnipeg Jets at home. That'll be a tough one. The Jets are one of the best teams in the league. They're up there right now, and they're having a really good season from everybody, is what it seems like. So we'll see what happens. Thanks everybody so much. Hope you guys enjoyed the new setup. Remember to hit that subscribe button if you enjoyed this video. Remember to check out the podcast coming up this Friday with Craig Berube and Nick McElwain. That'll be at 8 o'clock here on YouTube. It's, again, going to be really, really fun. Thanks everybody so much, and I'll talk to you all again soon.